When children experience trauma in early childhood, what happens is that they learn to abandon themselves. Because they are so needy of the love from their parents, they become anything the parents want them to become simply to get that love because they're so craving that love. So they give up their authentic self and they develop a false sense of self. And we typically in psychology call that false sense of self the ego, the false self, the persona. It is a body that is created to cope with pain. It is a false body. On some level, most of us have experienced some trauma simply when we are invalidated, simply when we're not seen for who it is we are, simply when we're not allowed to follow our own destiny or our own path. Trauma doesn't necessarily have to be poverty or abuse or violence or divorce. It could also be simply an invalidation of the core self. We go through our lives coping with the childhood rejection or the childhood trauma, wearing these false masks. And eventually we come to a point in our lives where we realize this is not working anymore. And then we reach this level of awareness that we need to make a change. And they begin to understand how their past influences their present. Now, the trap in that is that we don't want to get stuck in the past. We simply want to observe how did the past influence who it is I am now? And how can I generate transformation based on this self-knowledge? Not enter victimhood and woe is me and depression, but instead galvanize evolution. And the only way to awaken is to first realize we were asleep. And that movement from being asleep to being awakened is a painful one. No one wants to accept that they've been asleep. No one wants to accept that they've been unconscious, that they've simply been reacting to trauma. But most of us will have to wake up to this truth that who we were was a false self. What I learned in childhood, the way I learned to cope, now is not coping. Now it's unhealthy. Now it's toxic. Now I'm addicted. Now I'm running away. Now I'm simply unable to thrive. And now we have to make a choice. Do I want to live the rest of my life authentically? Do I dare to shed the old roles and the old patterns? Do I dare to take out my mask and reveal my true self to myself? Am I not worthy to live my most authentic self? When we realize that we are worthy and honorable and deserving to live our truth, that's when we begin to disrupt patterns.